Hey YouTube watchers and listeners and everybody serious about having this stuff. This video today is talking about which Bible is closest to the original scrolls. Now, this Bible I'm going to recommend to you is a Bible that is really widely used out there and you can easily access it. So the purpose of this video here is to expose the content of this Bible, the credibility, where this Bible originated from, when, and who was responsible for putting it together. When to and release how. So I'm showing you all of that kind of proof so that you can understand why am I saying this is the Bible that's closest to the original scrolls and therefore recommend that you can go ahead and use this Bible if you want to know more detail, because the English Bibles and all the other translations out there don't have the kind of level of detail that this Bible has. And, excuse me. And I'll show you a whole lot of scriptures, verses that I'm comparing from this Bible with the English and regular other Bibles. Okay. So I'm showing you how this Bible got a whole lot of depth, content, more information on it, and everything else you need to know that you won't necessarily pick up when you're reading the English Bibles. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now. Now, you will remember the part in the Bible in Daniel 5:25 where the Father himself, the Creator, wrote many on with his finger on the wall, and that was the same language that this Bible I'm recommending is in, which is called Xhosa in other languages, Xhosa, okay, which is a Bantu dialect. So a whole lot of other Bantu languages are similar to this Xhosa. So it's all part of the Bantu group of languages, if I were to call it that. So the Father himself with his finger in Daniel 5:25 wrote many tekele upanzi. That is pure Xhosa. So this Bible I can say to you, you can trust it because first of all, the Father, the Creator himself wrote with his finger the same language that is this Bible is written in. Okay. And also remember, you can also look at it, on Google Translate. Google Translate will pull it up and show you what mene means, transgressor. Okay. Because you know the story, what happened with that man who saw that writing on the wall. And the next one is when the Savior in Matthew 27:46, he said on the 9th hour, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. I know the English people don't know how to speak closer, so they'll be writing it wrong sometimes. But he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, okay? Which clearly means this is for Sabbath keepers, okay? You can watch my other video for more detail on this. But here, I'm just highlighting things that are showing you evidence that this Bible, Xhosa Bible, is the Bible that you can trust to be closer to the original scrolls, because the original scrolls were in Xhosa language. As you can see, everything I will show you in the Bible, everything that is quoted in the Bible, the names and everything, is all in Xhosa language. It's not a coincidence. And the Savior himself spoke Xhosa language, is quoted. The Father is quoted. So this Bible is called Izibhalo Ezingcwele. I'll show you a picture of it just now. So this Bible is the Bible that I think is closer, but here, this video, I'm showing you evidence, okay? So this is what I'm going to show you next. Now, even if you look at Google Translate, it'll show you Eli Elama Sabbathani in Xhosa means this is for Sabbath keepers, or this is for followers of Sabbath, followers of the assembly called Sabbath. Whatever, but it's all the same context. The gist is this is for Sabbath keepers, like I just show you now. And that is a Xhosa language. And the same Xhosa language. I'm just giving you a background so you can understand what I'm saying. That shows in the Bible that is closer to the original language, original scrolls, is the Xhosa Bible. Okay, so here, even those fake Jews in Israel, because now those fake Jews are were created or set up by the devil to copy the real deal people. Okay, the real deal culture, which is now what we see them copying is Xhosa. As you can see in that picture, I've got another video that's showing a whole lot of more detail on what they're doing and everything else. And all of that is copying exactly what the Xhosa people is doing. And even an outfit, look at the outfit. They got all this tzitzi and kyali. They call it talit. It's kyali. In Xhosa it's called kyali. It's those things. Everything. Just the Ngcili, I don't know what they call. They don't have a name for Ngcili, but they do carry it too. Ngcili is that little sack that Mandela got around his neck over in that LP. So they don't have a name for it, but they do carry it, because I used to go to them churches, the Jewish churches. So I know their culture, what they carry on. So they copy exactly what them. So those people were set up by the devil. After the devil, people, the Roman Greeks and whatever else, they stole the original scrolls and started copying everything that's written in there. And it was a whole lot of detail. That's not included in the Bible. They didn't put all the books, all the scrolls in the Bible. So they copied everything they saw in the Xhosa scrolls. And now we see from their acts that, oh, actually that was really Xhosa. It's confirming it. Because what they're doing, mimicking out there, is exactly Xhosa. Okay, as you can see in the picture there. All right, so that is really proof enough for you. Okay, even let's look at Moses. Simple. Moses' kids' names in Exodus 18:3 there. One was called Eliezer. One was called Gershom. Okay, those are the names. And those are in pure Xhosa. Eliezer is a medicine remedy. Okay, so, and he said, Eliezer, for God my Father has been a help, has been a remedy. Some translation says, because Moses named his son Eliezer because he was remedy to him. He was a helper, he was medicine. So a remedy or help, it's called Eliezer in Xhosa. Okay, Eliezer. So Moses called his son. And even the other son, Gershom. I mean, that's now in Xhosa village, Xhosa A, which is what they were forcing us, Xhosa A, in Bantu education. So Gershom means Geresho, because he says he named his kid because he was sojourning in the foreign land. In Xhosa language, to work in foreign lands is called Geresho. People would come in our villages, because I was still staying in village at that time. So people who come from other places come to our village and say, hey, I'm coming here to ask for Gereshom, to ask for a peace job. Okay, so that's what Gereshom is. But now good translator don't have Gereshom. For whatever reason, I can't pull it up. But Lieza is there, right there in front of you. I don't know if I can pull it up. Okay, I didn't put it in. But you can look up on Google Translate. Yes, is remedy or help or something like that. A link to that. Now, this Bible, I mean, I can spend the whole day showing you. Oh yeah. There's Xhosa showing Eliezer medicine. Okay, I forgot that I had it in there. So now there it is. And I mean, there's more. Look at Mount Sinai. There's major ones now I've pulled up. Mount Sinai, remember when the Creator was with the children of Israel, and they called that mountain, that they were all together at, and the Father was on that mountain. They called that Mount Sinai. Now it's called in Bible Mount Sinai. I mean, just look at that. Even all the other ones, Rebecca, Emmanuel, all those are in Xhosa, clear Xhosa language. Isaac, he named was because he left, because his mom left, though. Then he started calling him Isaac, the son, because she didn't believe that she's gonna get a son, and she started laughing. Then he said, "Okay, then call your son Isaac." Okay. So anyway, you can watch my other video that says proof. Bantu was something like that. I can't remember, but it says proof something like that. Okay, so you can watch my other video. It shows more detail. Even this slide is from that video. Okay, let's move on. So now, the Xhosa Bible, I've shown you that a whole lot of words, a whole lot of context, a whole lot of terms that we're using are in Xhosa. I mean, I won't show all of them. I got almost 95 videos that are showing you a whole lot of evidence that are showing you that Xhosa language, which is part of the Bantu languages. But for some reason, the Xhosa dialect is the one within the Bantu sphere, is the one that's used in the Bible all the time. Everywhere in the Bible you look, you see the Xhosa language. This Father speaking Xhosa language. Everything Xhosa, even the outfit you see from those fake people who stole our scrolls, they come reflecting a Xhosa culture, which shows what they saw in those Xhosa scrolls they stole. Okay, so now let's look at what are these Xhosa Bibles that now I'm recommending you all should start looking at if you want to know more in depth about what's going on, what was in the original scrolls. Now, it's called Izibalo Ezingcwele. That's how you say it. Izibalo Ezingcwele. But you don't have to say it, know how to say it, but just look at any Xhosa Bible. It's called Izibalo Ezingcwele. All of them. It's just one translation. Not like the English, you have New King James, Old King James, and Old NIV. The Xhosa will just have one called Izibalo Ezingcwele. That's one translation. But now it's different years. Okay, so you find a 1975 version and a 1996, I think, version. Okay, I'll show you a little bit of a background just now. So now the one I recommend is the 1975 version. Okay, because that's the one that done got a whole lot of changes, updates according to these pagans trying to factor in their own little things in there. I'll show you even what those things are. So the best one is there's still a little version one, which is 1975 version. Now, when I was in this part in the Xhosa land, in those times, that was way after 75, but still, we did not have, at the time, we didn't have, we didn't have a New Testament. We only had Old Testament. So that means, even if they don't tell us here in this internet and everything, researchers, but they probably first released the Old Testament, because even we can see the Old Testament is the one that's not been tempered any at all. It's still according to the original scrolls. So they probably took, it was quick for them to just take the scrolls, rewrite them into the Bible, and they didn't have to sit down word for word, try to change it like they've done in the New Testament. The Old Testament was released, and at the time, in those 80s, we did not have any New Testament in those times. In the early 80s, we didn't have New Testament. And then all of a sudden, I remember one time we were at school, and then there was this this New Testament that was introduced. So the New Testament was now separate from the Old Testament. Now it was two different books, because now the Old Testament came first, and then because they were trying to do stuff behind the scenes in the New Testament, they released it later in 1975. But not everybody, I mean, when they started releasing it in 1975, not everybody had the copy, because that's the time they started setting up them churches, because back then there was synagogues and stuff. The synagogue, they call it synagogue. There used to be even jokes, people making the villages, hey, get away from me, can't you see I'm in the synagogue? So that's a term that people used to use even before them church and everything came. But now when they started introducing these churches, that's when the Bible was part of the church thing, okay? And then started introducing the Old Testament in there. But the culture was anyway still the same way. And the terms, I mean, if I were to tell you the terms and the kid games and everything that people are still were using back then and are still using now, I mean, you'll see that these are linked to how the Bible stories are panning out. But anyway, so now you focus on the 1975 version. Okay, let me give you a little bit of a background now of how this Bible was released. Here, you'll find this on the internet. It was first translated here. The history of the Xhosa Bible started in 1833 when the first book. Now that shows this is when they started, reviewing all these scrolls and everything, because they start trying to tell us it's 1,000, 2,000 years ago the Savior. No, it's not. It's actually probably 300 years ago or even less. Because I'm not even if I was living in those times and I could see people still tell the stories were fresh. The stories of what was happening, what was going on, were still fresh. I mean, remember even the story, was it David who was seen with the prophets, and everybody was talking about, hey, him too. And the Bible says it's a proverb. That him too thing is still a proverb to this day, because everybody was, surprised when they saw Elijah, one of them. They saw him with prophets coming in, and they were surprised. That same gesture of surprise they said then, the Bible says it's still a proverb to this day. And I can tell you that's a proverb we were using. I mean, that's as fresh as we were using. It's called Nayena. I mean, if somebody is doing something that is out of their character or out of their capability, the term that we use to that person, we call him Nayena, which is the same term that the Bible says it's still a proverb used to this day by the group of people that were living there. And that was fresh at the time I was living there. So that ain't no 2,000 years ago. That's something that was fresh, okay? So now here, they're also shooting the self in the fruit, because they're talking about the Xhosa Bible started in 1833 when the first book of the Bible, which was Luke, so it was translated in Grahamstown. Okay, that's the town where it's close to another town called King Williamstown, Komga. The Bible called it Komga. Even I thought, okay, the Bible doesn't have Komga, but some analysis from when the Bible was first translated, and they were discussing the scroll. Because what happened when they took the scrolls from the Xhosa land, they started changing them, and then when they brought them back, they had a convention, like a meeting, a big meeting, a forum, where they called the Xhosa kings, Xhosa leaders, to come and look at it and review and discuss and say they accept it or not. And that's the forum that was in Kumha. Kumha is close as a neighbor to Grahamstown. King Williamstown and then Grahamstown, called Khini. They started changing these names. You see in my other video, they updated all these names. But we grew up in a village. We know all the names. We still call them Khini, Kumha, all those older names. We still call them the same names, not these English names. Because a lot of the people in the villages are not learned. I mean, they can't even say this Grahamstown. They call it Khini. That's it. So now the Kumha is where they were discussing these Bibles, and the Bible that was released was rejected. So I could assume then that was in the early 19th. Okay, because if they first released this Luke in 1833, and then they even though it was rejected, because I know in Kumha they rejected, those Xhosa leaders, they rejected this. So then they started releasing it anyway, the other books of the Bible, of the New Testament, in 1859. Yeah, that's close to 1859. Probably nobody wanted to use it because this Bible, we started seeing it, and a lot of it, more of it. I mean, even houses didn't have Bibles. We have to go to churches to access this Bible thing. So now that's as fresh as early 80s. Now you could tell that this Bible this Savior thing is not 2,000 years ago. So, but it was published in 1864. So it was published, but the latest revision of this Bible was done in 1975. Probably in 1864, whatever was released, it was totally rejected by the Xhosa leaders. They didn't want to hear it. So they started revealing, looking at it. And then in 1975, they released this thing that was now part of the churches. And then it was started being used and is still widely used. Now they had to write that line to show that it was rejected before. Now it's still widely used, the 1975. Now the 1996, I don't know who uses that one because it's an update of this 1975. Now I'm telling you to use the 1975 one. Okay, here's a summary. Book of Luke, 1830, full Bible, 1859, revised 1975. So use the updated one was 1996. It's not, even though it's not widely publicized because nobody want to read it. I'll show you. It's in line with the English translations. It's not the isolated Xhosa Bible that's a 1975 release, which was acceptable. It's not like that. It's closer to. I mean, I'll show you a verse from comparing the 1975 to the 1996 update, which shows that this 1996 is trying to be at par with the English translation, full of paganism and all. Okay, so now here's another thing. Now this first Bible, now that was released 1975. I could have, even though they don't say here, they don't say the first Bible was, the name was called Sinai Bible. Okay, probably was not called this Bible, it was just called Sinai Bible. Okay, and now it says, and is housed in the British Museum, and there's 14 difference between those 14,800 differences that are probably the ones that made it a little, because it's not 100% still acceptable. A lot of people in the village in April, they don't really accept what's written in that Bible. They still do their culture as per normal. Some of them they don't even read this. They say no, it's a white people thing, so they reject it. A lot of the kings, especially Xhosa kings, they don't want to hear nothing about this Bible. So because it comes from and that's not 2,000 years ago thing, because they're trying to say the Savior 2,000 years ago place. And now you'll see, compared to, now the first Bible called Mount Sinai, was called Sinai Bible, and you remember that other slide I showed you, Mount Sinai was because the Father, the Creator, Sonini, was with the children of Israel. It was Sinai. Yes, Sinai means to be with someone in Bantu language, in Xhosa. Okay, so now, first Bible called Sinai. So you can imagine that this Bible is really closer to the original scrolls. From all this history I was just telling you, going on and off and rejected by Xhosa kings and everything. So you can just tell this is really, the people in Kumha, King Williamstown, they really, really didn't like this Bible. And I can tell, this was totally rejected anyway. So now let me show you a whole lot of other parts in this Bible that are, I'm going to compare now with the English translations and then the Xhosa Bible, the 1975. That's my focus, because that's the one I'm trying to get you to read. And you can grab any Xhosa speaking person to translate the stuff for you. But if you can't, you can use probably here and there Google Translate, but to get a gist. But Google Translate won't have all these words, because Google Translate is like there's a random selection tool they're using in it, because sometimes you type a word in Google Translate from Xhosa and then it must speed up in English equivalent of it. And then 2 seconds later you type the same word, it will spit out a different word, another word. I mean, it's like it's not a one-on-one thing. It just, so Google Translate won't be really that accurate. So if you have access to a Xhosa speaking person, you can ask them, to say, okay, this is the verse, this is the chapter, not the whole Bible, but this is the chapter you really want to know more about, so you want that person to translate it for you, to show you how it is written in the 1975 Xhosa Bible. And you'll uncover a whole lot of things that will start to make sense. Even other things will start to make sense just because you understand the Xhosa Bible, this 1975 one. Everything else will start falling into place, because if you just use the English Bible, a lot of things just won't mean, like passing the like the cup, like the Savior when he was talking on the mountain, he said he wants the cup to pass from him. I mean, English translation don't know the culture, the Xhosa culture. Xhosa culture is when you drink from a cup with people in there or umpand or whatever, you have to pass it. That means it must go past. It must happen and move on. It must move on, not to jump him, not to like he's trying to avoid it. No, he said, that's what happens in ceremonies. People sharing umpand, sharing in there, like whatever they're drinking from. So one will sip and then pass it on, wipe it a little bit, pass it on to the next. Sip. Some people will hold it a little longer, and somebody down the line will say, hey, like that means this whatever we're drinking from has to go on faster. Gotta go on, gotta happen. Okay, my turn must come and go. Okay, that's what I mean. The whole lot of things that you won't understand if you don't have this Xhosa background. I'm telling you right now, because I read the Xhosa and I compare it with the English, and I find a whole lot of different, and I'll show you a lot of them. I mean, I pick random cheap scriptures, random chapters, verses in the Bible, in the English Bible, and I compare it with the Xhosa. There is 1 or 2 words that are off. Some context changes, gist is off. Everything is just a mess. But it don't mean you don't read the English Bibles, but if you want to know thorough what was closer to the scroll, what was written in the scrolls, grab a Xhosa Bible and grab somebody who can understand that Xhosa. Because Xhosa is the one that is quoted in that Bible. For some reason or another, I know there's a whole lot of other Bantu dialects, but they are not quoted in the Bible. It's only Xhosa. So I'll speak about what I see quoted in the Bible. And that's why I'm recommending that Xhosa 975 is the one you should be going forward with. Okay, so now here is the see that verse I was just showing you now. That verse is saying hold on a minute. Okay, so that verse is saying, and I looked and I saw a likeness, blah blah blah. Okay, I don't like word for word. I'm just showing you the purpose of why I'm pulling this, because I don't like word for word. Let me just explain what I'm trying to achieve here. So the Ezekiel 8:2. Okay, let me set it. See how it is now. Now let me pull it apart, so you can see when I'm analyzing these verses. So you can actually see it's the same verse as Ezekiel 8:2. Now in English it says, and I looked and I saw a likeness, like the appearance of fire. Just look at that first paragraph. It's same verse, but I've sectioned it in paragraph, so you can highlight the differences. So it says in English, I looked and saw a likeness, like the appearance of fire. I mean, it don't say what likeness, what's going on. And then look at the Xhosa translation. It says, I saw something that looks like a man, though there's a man, that looks like a man in appearance. Nothing about fire there. It says, I saw something that looked like a man in appearance. And then the English says, no, I saw a likeness, like an appearance of fire. See how different those two are? Those are totally different. And now, the man part is the one that's different, because when we go down, it says, because it says from the waist down. Now I'm reading the Xhosa in English. From the waist down, the appearance was like fire. Okay, now Xhosa says exactly the same thing. From the waist down, the appearance was fire. But now in the earlier part, the English didn't say anything about it looked like a man. It had an image of him, because each and every vision, each and every prophecy, each and everything, is important. Because if we miss now in English, you already missed them. If you only read the English translation, you already missed that the fact that that vision looked like a man, had a profile of a man or a structure of a man. You'll only see, oh, it was structure of fire. Only if I know that vision was a structure of a man, but only from the waist down was like fire. But it was like a man, a form of a man who looked like fire from the waist down. See, you already missed that important detail. But the English translation just say everything was just fire. Okay? And here's another one that you will miss if you just focus on the English. It says, environment with the appearance of the brightness like a glowing metal. Okay? So now, from the waist down is fire. From the waist up, the English says it's like a glowing metal. Don't say, what glowing metal? But then let's look at the Xhosa. The Xhosa says, from the waist up, it was shiny like a gold. Like gold. It doesn't say a glowing metal. It specifies that it is gold. See, now you get a whole lot of more detail in it. It doesn't say, metal or anything. No. Gold. More specific. Right? Let's look at another one. Here's another one. Ezekiel 8:2. It says, and then, okay, sorry, excuse me. I just wanted to show you now, comparing the same Ezekiel 8:2. Same is there. Now, comparing the 7:5 to the 96 to show you that the 96 is closer to that other English one that we just saw. The 96 translation is saying it was a person. It doesn't say a man, because now the 7:5 says it was a man. The 96 version says it was a person. So neutral. It was a person. And then it goes on. Remember the other part where the 7:5 version says it was gold. And the English version was saying it was just something bright or something. But then the 96 version says it was iron. It doesn't say what kind of iron, or it was just no, it was like a burnt iron. Like the picture there I'm showing you. It is an iron. So it was just like a burnt iron. I'm like, If you go to Google Translate will say Isn't is metal. But I know what metal is iron. Isn't is a metal called iron. Because a metal is tsimbi. Okay? But Isn't is a type of tsimbi, which is called iron. Okay? Now, I studied in these Bantu lines, especially this course, Zulu, Tswana. Number one was Xhosa, because we had to get A's in that course. So I know every word. Because if you fail that course in Bantu education, you fail everything. So we had to know everything. So Isn't is iron. So you see now, it's not specific. The 96 is still missing a whole lot of detail. It just says iron. I mean, that was gold, not just iron. It was gold. Okay? So now let's look at another one. Now the other one is Isaiah. I mean, I'm just grabbing any random script verses. The other one is saying Isaiah 7:15. He says, he eats curds and honey. Then now Isaiah is talking about the Savior. Now these are important stuff. He's talking about the Savior, what he's going to do when he's a baby, how he's going to grow up eating and stuff like that. So he says he eats curds and honey when he knows to refuse evil and choose good. Okay. Now, he eats curds and honey when he knows to refuse evil. Now, you get what I mean? But then, the Xhosa version, 97, it says, he eats curds and honey until he knows how to choose. Those are two totally different messages. The other one says, he eats honey when he knows. And then the other one says, he eats honey until he knows how to, You see what I mean? So you will miss a whole lot of information if you just focus on the English. Let's choose another one. I mean, I got a whole bunch of them here. Here's another one. He says, in the beginning, now that's John, famous line. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay, was with. The emphasis in the English is saying with, like the Word was separate from God. Okay, from the Father. So it says the Word was with, and the Word was. With. But then the Xhosa one, it says, no, the word was in. That word, you see there, it shows, I've bolded it. It shows in. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was in the Father. God. People, I don't like using the God name. And the Word was in. All right? So you missed that too. If you say it was with, because now if you say it was with, then you start believing them when they talk about the Holy Trinity. That no, these three are separate, these three of them. Because now already you believe that with, oh, this is with me, it's with him. The word was with the Father. Okay, so it was separate. No, but the original translation, the Xhosa says the word was in, to show that it was his soul, his essence. Watch my other video that's titled Being Overlooked. Going on, I'm explaining how the concept of the Father, the soul, the light, and the whole thing, how it works. Okay? All right, let's look at another. I mean, I got a whole lot of... Here's another one. Isaiah 7:16. 7:16, it says, and the land that you dread... I'm focused on the bolded parts now, because that's where the major difference is. The land that you dread to be forsaken by both her sovereign. The land that you dread, there's nothing like that in the Xhosa. It just says, woba selushiwe lo mhlaba kumkani bawo babini. It just says that land that you forsake. I mean, woba selushiwe lo mhlaba. Shiwa is to forsake. Okay, it doesn't say the land that you dread. The land that you dread has nothing to do with none of this. It just says the forsaken. Forsake Shiwa, yeah, forsake good. But then nothing that the land that you dread is to be forsaken by both of sovereign. Where is that coming from? The Xhosa says the land forsaken got two kings. The land forsaken that got two kings. It just says the forsaken land, now that's what the English say. Forsaken land by both the kings. Now the worst part is that line, that bakukulayo, the one that on the Xhosa one, it says annoying. The kukula is annoying. The two kings that are annoying. Nothing in English. English just says by both his kings. What kind of kings? It don't say. Okay? So probably that's important what kind of kings those are. Because Isaiah was really profiting. So he was saying everything that his father is telling. So it's something that we got to take note of to know. If his father said it, we got to know. Here's another one. Isaiah 7:20. The English says the father shave with a braid. And then here, it says the king, Guya is to party. Not shave. It's to Guya. I mean, look at the picture there. That's what Guya means. Guya is to dance in a party, dance in a party. So sometimes they dance holding a stick, sometimes whatever you want to Guya with. Okay. It shows, whatever you want to, your choice. So Guya means to party. Mguyweni is where a party is like a party, whether you're opening of a new house, opening whatever, celebrate. So any celebration is called Mguyo. Okay. Guya is to dance in there. So now here, the English translation talk about shaving. He shall shave. Guya is to shave. No, that's nothing to do with shaving. All right. So it's and then it goes on to say, and also remove the beard. And then the Xhosa translation, that's now English. And then the Xhosa translation, it's what airbrush. To pepeta is to airbrush. When it's windy outside or something in the wind, and then you fluff it out with the air. It's called to pepeta. Okay, so he shall do that with the beard. He shall pepeta the beard. Okay, not shave it off. Just to fluff it out or airbrush it. I just wrote airbrush it. So you see how the gist is mixed up? Because them English people are writing that thing. Nobody's going to shave nobody hair. Nobody's going to remove nobody beard. But now, if you only focus on the English, you'll think that, somebody's going to raise somebody with a razor. That's evil. That's violent. No. He's only going to celebrate. With the knife, of course. I mean, it says his chest is a higher knife. So he's going to guya. He's going to dance. That's all. You're not going to hurting somebody shaving this and that. Here's another one. A young cow. English says young cow. And the Xhosa one says a female cow with kids. The English don't say nothing about, it says here, a young cow. That's the English one. And then the version of the Xhosa 7.5 version, it says a female, talk as a female. A mazi is a female with kids. So a female with kids. You see all these big differences with these people. Look at, because if you just focus on English, you'll think, he keeps alive a young cow and two sheep. Oh, so what? Young cow. But even the content, even the young cow, here it says he's going to keep alive in Xhosa now 7.5. He's going to keep alive a female cow, yeah, and a female with kids, sheep, two sheep that are females with kids, with their little ones. Now you're gonna miss that whole scenario if you just focus on the English. Okay, let's look at another one. I mean, I got a whole list. I mean, every chapter, I'm just picking random. When I was doing this, I was just picking up random verses. So just to show that there will always be something somewhere. I can understand those people who rejected this book when it first released. I would have rejected it myself. I would reject it, even those churches too. Now, very awesome. That's what it says. He says the Judges. The messenger was very awesome. That's what the English says. But now the original translation says he had dignity. He was fearsome. Awesome, very awesome, and then the other one says fearsome. Those are two different things. Here's another one. Judges again. He says, for the youth is a Nazarite. Now talking about the Savior. So for the youth is a Nazarite. And then the Xhosa son said, for the youth is set apart, is holy. Totally different. For the youth is set apart. Xhosa is to set apart, to be different. Xhosa, different. Maybe Google Translate might have it. I didn't even waste time looking at it. Xhosa is different. So to set apart. Now, English says no, he was a Nazarite. Because they got this pagan Nazi thing they're promoting. Nazi. He was a Nazi. He was not Nazi, pagan stuff. But they're putting their stuff in it. He was a Nazarite. Xhosa was set apart. That's all. He was holy, set apart. Okay, let's look at another one. I mean, there's a whole lot of, I would spend the whole day showing you each and every word in the Bible. Totally different. So rather focus on the Xhosa one. That's the only one that you can get closest to the original scrolls. I'm telling you, the 7.5 version. And there are other Bantu Bibles out there that you can look at it, especially if you already speak a Bantu language. So you might as well look at it. But I don't know how they would. They don't tell us the history. They only tell us the history of the Xhosa Bible, and they've got a whole dedicated institute that was dedicated to translate this Bible. Why? Because that's where them scrolls were coming from. Xhosa place in the southern part of Africa. But now these other Bantu languages that are not quoted in the Bible, these other Bantu languages are also closer to the Xhosa language. But I mean, there are a whole lot of other words that are different. But at least you can tell that it's part of the Bantu movement. So you can, if you already speak any one of them languages, especially Zulu. Zulu is closer to Xhosa, very close, almost 80% at par with Xhosa. But then the other one are a whole lot a little different. So if you look at all of those languages, and Gusi is also closer to Xhosa, like almost 60%. So if you look at those languages and already speak them, you can look at your Bible and compare it. First compare it with the Xhosa 7.5 to see how different it is. Then you'll know whether or not the scrolls were included in the first release of the scrolls or they were part of the updates. Then if they're part of the updates, you don't want to focus on them. Just go back to the Xhosa 7.5 one. Okay? So in conclusion, focus on that Xhosa Bible. That's the only one that's closest to the scrolls. As I repeat, if you really want to know more about what was in the original scrolls, forget about they found some scrolls in Dead Sea Scrolls and they're lying. Those are just plain lies. These people be trying. They're lying. So focus on that Xhosa 1975. It's not 100% what was in the scrolls, but it's at least the closest of the Bibles to the one. Because the one that they released in 1864 was totally rejected. And then they made an update, which is trying to compromise being closer to the scrolls that those people, the leaders of the Xhosa people, that they're used to. And then they started at least accepting-ish this 1975, even though they did not really 100% accept it, but they anyway used it as it was the only thing that was available because they destroyed the Roman Greek people. It was the Greek people. And that land is called Griqualand. I mean, even today, I know that land is used to call Griqualand, but then the white people used to, it was against the law to use those words Griqualand in those, because they said you are against the law, you will be imprisoned if you call the Xhosa land Griqualand. I'm telling you, it was harsh. I was there. That's how fresh this thing was. So this Griqualand, where Xhosa people are, they never accepted it. So just look at that. Look at. I mean, it's just evidence right in front of us. These white people, they think that we fooled, and they probably be laughing. That's why they're so confident in doing all these lies and everything, because we believe them lies. But now this Bantu awakening is starting to reveal a whole lot of information that was not available back then. So if you really want to know more closer to the scrolls, go into that 975 Xhosa Bible. That's the one that's closest. I mean, I've showed you a whole lot of evidence to get your mind wrapped around this thing here. All right? Bye.